Hello, everyone, and re-welcome to this stream. If you're on Twitch and can see us, please let us know, because apparently Twitch has decided to, like, put the kibosh on this whole process. But if not, this is the last time we're trying today. Other than that, we've got an hour. YouTube Gang Part 2, says Jack Jones. That's right. YouTube Gang Part 2. Anybody who can't see us on Twitch, we're on YouTube live, apparently, and on Facebook. So check it out. Hail Hydra says, are you counting this as a record number of streams in a day? Yes, 3 streams one day. Let's do this. All back to back to back. Guinness World Book of Records, we are here. I'm assuming Twitch is still not working.
Correct.
Okay. Well, if somebody wants to let them know that we're on YouTube, that would be fantastic.
I'll help in the chat.
Thank you very much. Did Twitch reset your stream key? I don't think so. Maybe. I'll have to check it out. So, other than that, okay. We're chatting hobby. I don't remember where we were in the conversation. But, sorry to all the Twitch peeps. Apparently, Twitch is not working. What are you doing, Matt? Just kind of like...
I'm looking at my GW order for stuff that's
cool.
supposed to come out on Saturday.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. That's all the Death Guard stuff, then.
No. Dark Angels.
Oh, Dark Angels. That's right. Hey, hey, Dave. Have you had a chance to read over that Dark Angel book yet?
I've had a chance to watch Steve read it.
Yes. And was he calling filth the entire time?
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, that's so powerful. Oh, that's too powerful. Oh, you guys are gonna hate me. Oh, that's too good. Oh, that's the whole time."
Which happens. Which definitely happens.
Yeah,
I do feel like they are going to be a very strong codex. They have lots of cool like options and stuff like that. It is pretty nifty. I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually a big fan of the unkillable Terminators. I think it makes a lot of sense to have like a Terminator army that's like a loyalist Terminator army, which I think is really good. Other than Custodes.
Loyalist.
Oh, okay. Or pseudo chaos, depending.
There you go.
You know, depending on what do you think, Dave? Do you think they are chaos after all, or do you think they are?
Yes.
They are chaos.
Everything is chaos.
Everything. It's fun. You're right. It's actually funny because you are right. Everything, even what the good guys do, just fall into exactly what the Chaos Gods want anyway. Like, you know, death, destruction, blood for the blood god, like all that stuff. It's, you know, Khorne cares not whence the blood flows, right?
Correct. Yeah. Whenever an intercessor destroys something in close combat, it's in the name of Khorne.
Yeah, he just doesn't know it.
That's right.
Or he doesn't. But Khorne does. He's like, thank you very much, loyalist intercessor. Anton says, hey Dave, just wanted to say I originally became a Vault member for the painting tutorials and the occasional bat rep. Then I came across you and Farah playing. You two are the best.
Oh, thank you.
Needless to say, your enthusiasm is what keeps me around, says Anton.
Thank you, Anton. Appreciate it.
Jack Jones wants to know what we're building and painting. I'm painting this. It's a giant Skari face. It's literally my Archon in effigy, which is fantastic. Where are you, Matt?
I am building Lumineth Sentinels. Rawr.
Nice.
And hey, Skari,
yes.
I'm almost done 3 of them already.
Oh my goodness. That's like a... Yeah, how many bits are those? I'm sure they're not as many bits as Sisters of Battle, okay?
I'm hearing excuses, that's what I'm hearing.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are about 11 or 12 per model.
Really? You're kidding. Yeah. Are they interchangeable pieces? Or are they like,
see?
You know, all the same
That's
pieces?
the build instructions for one dude.
Oh my goodness. Okay, yes, they are just as complicated as the Sisters of Battle, and you're just showing me up for no reason then. Thank you.
That's what I do, right?
That's when you say, yeah, it's not that difficult.
Ouch.
Oh.
Ouch. So you see, Dave, every time we do hobby and stuff, when I'm building something, I tend to get lost in conversation, and I don't get any hobby done. So, you know,
You're doing a
just
tough thing. You're topping and painting. It's a tough thing to do. You got to facilitate this, and so I appreciate your multitasking.
Thank you. See, Dave's on my side, Matt. So
this is why I'm only a co-host.
Yeah. See, all the guests come on and like inflate your ego, and then we have to like bring you back down to earth.
Yeah, I would float away. Good thing I have the studio in a basement. Like that, I would just bang. I get up against the roof here. Bang. Gwendolyn says, hello from St. Louis, folks. Hello from Canada.
Yeah, we are all Canadian today. Nice.
Mariano Quesada says, hi, Tanya, Matt, and Dave. Hey, Mariano,
Hi, Mariano.
all the way from Argentina. ¿Cómo estás, amigo? Muy bien. Oye, fue un placer estar en el stream de Deep Space Games. Que estuvo Deep Spain Games. Estuvo muy bien. Me encantó.
Deep Spain Games?
Yeah, so
I thought it was Deep Games Spain.
Deep Games Spain. Yeah, okay. Yeah. They're one of they're like a Twitch Twitch channel from like Spain. And like the Spanish speaking 40K community is massive. Like massive. And during the LV Open, they had like 800 to 1,000 people watching for like 12 hours straight for 3 days straight, like just watching the coverage of the LV Open, and it was all in Spanish. And I got to shoutcast with them on the final round. It was 3 hours of us just loving Dark Eldar playing in the finals of a big like tournament thing, which was hilarious, and it was really fun. And I got to practice my Spanish a lot. So muchas gracias.
I think it's so cool that the guest on my like YouTube podcast thingy this week is the guy who got to the finals. His list got to the finals. It's so cool.
Mr. JT.
JT.
From Play on Tail. Yeah. From Play on Tail. His list made it to the finals. See, the way that the tournament worked, because it's COVID, is each player, so they got a bunch of different like competitive some YouTube channels that have like are set up for streams and stuff, for like gaming streams, to make, so they got like two people in each channel to make a competitive 40K list. And so they pitted the two players from that channel against each other, and then whoever won, their list moved to the next round. But it wasn't necessarily them playing their own list in the next round. It was another one of the YouTubers playing that list, and it could have been in a different country or different channel. And so the list progressed throughout the course of the tournament rather than the player, because of COVID, right? So it was really cool to see like a Dark Eldar list go the distance, even though they're considered to be not quote unquote the most competitive. So just saying.
It was really exciting.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah.
He played his Drukari, didn't he?
Yeah. So he played his Drukari, and he was running like a very shooty Drukari. So lots and lots and lots of guns in his Drukari list.
What's the name of the big boat?
The Tantalus.
Tantalus, that's right. Did he bring that?
He did not have a Tantalus. He had lots of Venoms and the Reapers, which are like the Ravager that you played against me, but like on steroids.
And how many points are those?
1.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of something else. I'm sorry. I replaced the V with a P in my brain.
Oh, the Reaver. Yeah. Reavers are 10 points technically.
10 points?
I've been playing them at 17 points, however. So I definitely am not playing the super cheap Reavers, because I think that's cheap.
Yeah.
Mariano says, oh, Hail Hydra says, hello from Buckinghamshire. Hello. Thank you for tuning in. Hi from Norway, says Jack Jones. Nice, all the way from Norway watching. That's fantastic. James Weston says, howdy all. Hi, James.
Hey, James.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
How many push-ups can you do?
How many push-ups can you do, James?
Without stopping.
And you can't start counting until it starts hurting. That's how that works.
That's right. Who said that? It was Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah. He's like, how many push-ups can you do? Well, I don't count until it starts hurting.
That's the best
Right?
answer. That's the
Yeah.
best answer. Yeah.
Yeah, this because anything else is not you growing. Like you don't grow until it starts hurting, right? So there's no point in counting until it starts hurting. So yeah, I thought that was awesome. AAB says hello from Russia. Hello.
Hello.
I don't know how to say hello in Russian, but I would if I did.
Das Vidanya? No, that's like goodbye, isn't it? Or it's like have a good life before I kill you, or something like that.
Wow.
We're bringing out the cultural references.
It's bad guys in
Excellent.
movies who say that before they shoot. John McClane.
Yeah. There you go. Good old John McClane. And it has to be in a building, and it has to be Christmas. If not,
That's right.
it doesn't work.
It doesn't work at all.
A few moons ago, I dated a girl from Russia, and she had come to Canada with her grandfather and her mother. And her grandfather did not speak a word of English. And this is back before cell phones were around. So if I ever called her and her grandfather would answer the phone, I guess he knew how to say, Olga, not home. And he would just hang up the phone. So that was my interactions with him. And then I get invited over for Russian New Year. And let me tell you something. I don't like vodka, but I guess he had brought and it's I guess the way that they did things was that Russian New Year starts at like noon and goes until midnight, and they just keep bringing food out. And every time something new food wise came out, you would take a shot of vodka, and I don't like vodka. But this man who stood all of like 4.5 feet tall scared the living bejeebies out of me. And I'm like, I think it would be extremely rude and probably detrimental to my life if I refused drinking this vodka. So he's got the shot glasses, but then he has a cup, and no word of a lie, the cup is like this size, filled with his personal vodka that he would drink as like water. And it was really, really good vodka. What I'm trying to get at is that it was really good vodka. And at the end of the evening, he looked at me and he put his hand on my shoulder and he was like, "Good boy."
Amazing.
It was
That must have
awesome.
felt great. You were like, yes, victory.
Well, I was like, I actually get to leave, and I'm not, I was quite terrified that I was going to do something that would offend them because I wasn't, aware of how Russian New Year's went. Yeah.
Makes sense. No, it's always like an interesting dynamic when you're in sort of those sort of positions there.
There is
Makes
a
sense.
question for Dave in the chat.
Ooh, fancy.
Question for Dave. What do you do in your downtime? Matt does D&D, etc. Are you still working out? Going to write another book?
Well, let's see. My downtime. What am I doing in my downtime right now? I am exercising at home. To answer that part, yes. With Farah, we're exercising together. She is a beast when it comes to exercising. She kicks my butt. Gyms are closed, so we can't go in person. So we had to have our makeshift gym at home. But the next, that's a hard one because it's hard for me to focus on any one thing. I like to build furniture that I don't sell. I made the dining room table in our house, and whenever we have guests over, it's like, "Ooh, that's a nice table. Where'd you get it? Oh, I made it. Oh, can you make me one?" No.
No. Yeah.
That is only for the goddess of Slanesh.
I feel like in my limited experience with content creators, they don't have downtime in general. Like there's not a lot of that to go around. Do you find that that's the same for you?
Yes, that is true because I do the social media, so I'm constantly posting on all of the platforms, and it's at all times of the day whenever something pops into my brain, which is multiple times a day. And it's a bit of It's a very unhealthy addiction that just happens to benefit the business. So it's like, I will not stop because I can't stop, and I won't stop.
Yeah, I used to manage a number of social media accounts like for a job, and it's a 24-hour a day job, right?
Yes,
And it's a puzzle that you're constantly trying to figure out, and it is so infuriating that companies don't actually want to pay you for that, because it is a job, and to find somebody who does it really well is very difficult, and you should pay them. So
yes, absolutely. And it's very nuanced, because you can't just post anything. You have to post stuff that makes sense.
Mhm.
You have to post stuff that's engaging and that people want
Yep.
to see, and you has to be constantly creative, because you can't post the same stuff, because it becomes white noise.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into it. Yeah, personally, like in terms of like downtime, it's mostly like hanging out with my kid or watching like, an episode of a show that I'm enjoying, like One Division or something like that. Trying to keep up with that. But a lot of the times I'm thinking like, what's my next guest gonna be, or how, like, I'm constantly communicating with people or coaching clients, or it's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it. So
If I'm not making content, I'm painting, or I am playing first-person shooters with my husband,
Nice.
or I am trying to convince my husband to play Warhammer with me,
Nice.
and usually failing. That's what my spare time is like, but I don't have much of it either.
Max says on Russian, hello equal privet. Privet. I like it.
Did you say equal privet?
Yes.
So like a balanced hello? What does that mean? I'm lost in the vodka. I don't see.
I have a question for Dave. Oh, that's the question you just asked. Keith says,
I'm on
YouTube,
it.
by the way. My man's here. Hello, Keith. Hello, my man's.
Hi, Keith.
How are you? Luke Kozak says, hello. Hello, Luke. Welcome, Luke. I have been expecting you.
Wow.
Cerberus says, what? Thanks, Matt. See, I'm glad you got it. So here I was talking about like the chat bot and all this stuff, and we can't even use Twitch right now.
Is it still not working?
Oh no, it didn't load up to Twitch, so sadly. It's only loaded up to other stuff. Da-da-da.
Strange.
Yeah, I know, it's really weird.
Oh wait, you're
really
using
weird.
Restream, right?
I was, yeah. Like it's been working for the last 3 weeks, no problems. Today's the first time I've had an issue, and it's not one I would have expected. So I'm gonna have to figure out what the heck is going on.
I'm the only anomaly. I'm sorry.
Somebody had actually said
we brought
that.
in the chaos. We brought in the chaos, and the chaos has ensued.
And they had said that Dave's awesomeness was too much, and
Twitch
he couldn't
couldn't
handle it.
The program's like too much awesome.
I'm guessing that Karkos's question is for me, because I think I am the only small content creator in this in this awesomeness right now. It has to be hard to be a small content creator. You have to constantly keep everyone's attention. I don't think it's hard. I think it depends what your expectations are, right? So like if I go into it, because I've made 5 YouTube videos now, so I'm an expert in this field. That's jokes. I think if you go into it and you're like, I'm immediately going to get like thousands of followers, and I'm immediately going to get thousands of views, and that, I think like it probably would be very difficult, right? Because then everything that you do has to be like super curated, and you have to really be on top of your advertising, and you have to make sure that you are like literally spamming your stuff everywhere that you can. I think that, that would be very difficult. But if you go into it, like, especially with Twitch is like my fun thing that is just like icing on the cake, and it's where I go to like hang out with my friends and make all the dirty jokes that I can't make here. So that there's no pressure on me for Twitch. And then YouTube, I sort of keep my expectations low-ish. I like exceeded my expectations also on YouTube. But yeah, I think like accepting where you're at, accepting what you're capable of. That's like the key to happiness. And, you know, if you can just slightly exceed those expectations every time, then you will be successful eventually. I look at it like I'm in it for the long run. I don't want to like be super popular right away and then like burn out.
It's not a get rich quick scheme sort of thing,
No.
right? Like you kind of like, you know, I'm assuming like Dave, like you folks have had mini wargaming for how long now? 15 years?
We're in our 14th year, so
14
Yeah.
years. And during that time, you've become like a very iconic brand associated with just hobbying in general, right? Like from content creation to community building to, just like a very wholesome sort of approach. Really trying to take in most of the hobbying aspects of the game, right? Even recently, kind of reaching out to more competitive gamers, like having chats with like Nick Nadavati and myself and that sort of stuff, and even kind of branching out into that, not necessarily straight into like the competitive aspect, but you've sort of like dabbled in that as well. So it's not like you're shut off to like anything. And it's been a huge process. I'm assuming you yourselves have like a process of like where you want to grow, and I'm assuming you're very goal driven, being a business, and you kind of like have goals that you'd like to hit, and you kind of like working towards said goals and things like that as well, right?
keep the plane moving and regas while flying.
That's how the entrepreneurs go. You have to push that rock, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're an entrepreneur and you want to get stuff done, the hardest part is getting that rock to move first. Like that's the most amount of work is what it does. Is just push the rock to get it rolling. And then the trick is while the rock is rolling to like adjust the direction the rock is going so it continues to roll or rolls faster or whatever, right? Sometimes it'll roll backwards on you and then you have to like push it up again, right? So it depends on like your thought process has to be just get the ball rolling and go from there.
And it's funny because it's like it's constant innovation because things change all the time. Because I've seen other channels just do the same thing that they've always done for a decade, and there's new channels that crop up that are more innovative and more interesting, and they just outrun them in the race because
looking at you, JT McDowell in the chat. Hey,
JT.
Hey, JT, what's going on?
He's a good person who likes people, who has an awesome voice.
It's true. He also says that I'm expert roller derby skater. I would not say that I'm an expert, but I was okay.
But if I get you on rollerblades, you will rue the day.
Roller blades?
Roller skates. Okay, sorry.
much.
Don't hit me.
I'm gonna hit you with my butt.
That's because it's funny because my wife was she was watching like a TV show the other day, and they had like this roller derby sort of like it was like one of these ER shows or whatever, and they had like a roller derby scene where there was going to be like some crazy accident. She looked at me, she's like, "Roller derbies are intense." I was like, "Yes, they are intense."
The only bone that I ever broke was in roller derby, and it was my tailbone, and that was 18 months of hell trying to get that bad boy to heal.
Oof.
I like pulverized it.
Actually, Skari,
Yeah.
roller derbies are in rinks.
It's
Chirp, chirp, chirp.
That one went.
You said that it's intense.
Oh,
They're
okay,
actually
okay.
in rinks.
Ha 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 ha
Yuck.
ha. See, I get the joke now, and it's really funny. But before that, I was like, "Huh? What?" I'm normally the one that makes the dad jokes.
No,
You
you
can't-
gotta make the bad dad jokes.
Oh, okay. The bad jokes.
The bad jokes. I feel like the chat's getting away from us here.
Yep. It's scrolling by. We're having a good time.
I can't scroll to read it.
We're having a good time. I am currently riding Archon Skari on this bust here, so I'm freestyling or freehanding my riding here.
Why don't you just use a pen?
Because I want to use this cool green ink, paint.
I'm gonna get you some like paint pens.
I didn't know that was a thing.
We're gonna have to like go to an art store, like an art supply store, when I come to visit next time, and I'll be like, take some of this, and take some of this, and here, take some of this ink, and yeah.
Hey, next time you visit, come visit MiniWarGaming. Come to the bunker.
That would be so fun.
You two, Matt. You're both invited. Skari too. Okay, fine. He can come.
I know he's my ride, so he has to be invited by de facto.
I'll just sit in the shadows like a good Archon. It's like, can I say something? No.
No.
This invitation. You're just my ride. I'll just sit in the corner.
I had gone to a MiniWarGaming tournament. I'm not going to say how long ago, but it was a long time ago.
Like a decade ago, it has to be.
Yeah. And it was, oh gosh, I don't even, like, it wasn't your current incarnation, that is for sure.
Oh wait, hold on. Was it upstairs in a building?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking like 12 years ago.
Yeah, I want to say it almost reminded me of like a school or like an armory or something like.
It was the old city hall.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was upstairs. Yeah, it was the first Apocalypticon where there was maybe 20 people, 20 participants-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Awesome.
Matt's the OG.
Yep, definitely.
Awesome, man.
Matt is the OG.
Yeah, well, it's like that. Those Apocalypticons were always so inspiring. You know, when you folks like had such like giant amounts. That's kind of like one of the inspirations for the big game that we do every year. We should definitely have you come up for the big game. You know, we'll put you up for the night. You can bring your 100,000 points of chaos. We'll stream the whole thing. It'll be like you have to get a U-Haul just to bring it all down. You know, like and like
Doesn't
3
Kyle
people.
do it in like 2 trips?
Yeah, he does. He
does
literally
every 2
fills
trips.
his like car with like 2
SUV.
Yeah, an SUV just full of, and they're like grocery store crates because he used to work at a grocery store, so he literally like was able to keep all the like crates, so they're big plastic like sturdy crates, and he's got like 30 of these crates filled with miniatures.
And he's got to
then
do it
some-
twice.
Yeah, nuts. Also, see, look, Tanya, see, see.
Ooh.
See, I love that green. That's a cool.
It is very
green.
nice. Yeah.
Uh-huh. That's the Cabalite green. I thought it was fitting. So, Seabright green.
I have also decided, by the way, that I'm keeping your present until you send me stickers.
Yes, I'm sending them today. I have to send out 2 things today in the mail. So I'm sending them today.
Send me some damn stickers. I need them for my table.
You know how long it took me to
Goal is
get
to
that
get
chatbot
stickers
rolling? You know?
I had to get all of my Twitch followers to harass you so that you get a Twitch bot.
That is also very true.
Yeah.
Okay, so Justin Dean had asked a question that has scrolled by quite a bit, and I see that there is some response, and I'd absolutely love to hear your take on it. Everybody else, he had asked, you'll have to reiterate, Justin, what you were, but it was something along the lines of an actual sports coach, and he wanted to know if we felt that 40K was a sport.
Was a sport.
Is a sport. My apologies.
I don't think it's a sport, but I think you can approach training for it in the exact same way that you train for a sport.
Okay, is darts a sport?
I don't think so, but
I have a question. Is
it's a
drinking
test of
a
skill.
sport?
Is pool a sport?
I don't think so.
Is poker a sport?
No.
Yep.
No.
What's the definition of a sport? Does it have to be physical in nature?
I think it does. Otherwise, it's just like a test of skill.
Yeah, but isn't using your brain like physical? Like, is chess a sport?
No.
Poker is a sport. You ever tried to grind out a session for like 14 hours?
It's
Yeah,
tough.
And
right?
tell me how exhausted you are halfway through and still being able to,
It's not a traditional sport, but it is a sport.
right?
I don't know.
See, I think 40K depends, like anything. you can approach anything like a sport, but then it becomes a sport as soon as you turn it into a sport. Right? Like, you can make it into a sport if you think of it as a sport and treat it as a sport.
Is hunting a sport?
I think yes.
Interesting. What about archery?
See, I think archery is a sport.
It's a sport, right?
Yeah.
So if archery is a sport and darts isn't, what's the difference?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I
One,
think
it's,
it's just like the amount of effort, like physical effort that you put in.
I think that one involves a lot of drinking and one does not work
Have
well
you
if you
ever-
have a drink.
Have you ever wait?
Unless
But
you're the
you
drunken
drink a lot.
archer and you're like, whee! Bullseye! Whee! Bullseye again!
I'm pretty sure drinking is a part of hunting. And I think hunting is a sport.
That is true.
Same with poker. Same with pickup hockey. Same with Warhammer. So it's interesting.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I go to tournaments just to drink with my friends.
well, yeah, right? But that's the thing. Then it becomes like a social, social sport.
So like maybe I should consider 40K as more of a sport.
Wawa had said
Well, it
StarCraft
can
is a
if
sport.
you want, right? StarCraft
Wawa.
is become
Wawa.
a sport.
Nick,
Yeah.
Nick Wawa? Is that Nick Wawa?
Nick
So
Wawa.
if StarCraft is a sport, does that make StarCraft a sport or video gaming a sport?
Yeah, the esports, right?
So it's an electronic sport, right?
So what you're saying is that sports, it's all your mindset. Once you consider it a sport, then it's a sport.
That's what I believe. I think it's how you approach it, because you can approach 40K or poker as a hobby, right? Or you can approach darts as a hobby or just as a pastime, or you can approach it as a sport where your mindset changes and you think of it as a sport and you think of it as a how do I constantly improve, how do I get better, what tactics, tips, tricks, and you educate yourself on it. Same as archery, same as hunting, right? Like, people who take hunting as a sport would be like, this is like, a competition against myself. It's like golf, right? You're basically challenging yourself every time, and then you feel like you're going to die every time you miss, right? That's why.
That's so true.
Justin Dean says, welcome to my thesis, everyone. Welcome. JT says, as a former pro fighter, of course you're a former pro fighter, just like slam dunk people. I love it. I think competitive 40K is 100% a sport. The training, the mental toughness, the physical toll that 3 or 4 games in a day has on your body.
Yep. It's true.
I'll tell you right now, I did the showcase game for the Las Vegas Open with Dustin Henschel from Stutter Scrub.
Who's going to be on the show this week, by the way?
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, tomorrow, Dustin. Yeah. We have to Dustin tomorrow. But because of lockdown, right, we haven't really been able to spend time with people. We got like a special permission because it was for charity and for work, basically, to be able to film together. And it was 4 hours of us standing up playing a game, and I have been out of practice for so long, standing up for that amount of time to play a game. I was like exhausted after. Like, my body just ached. I was like, ugh, so much physical exertion going into this right now.
It was really interesting being table boss for the Tabletop Titans game, because they had been doing like streaming all weekend. And like I was their last game for the weekend, and like they were pretty cooked by the time that game started, and like I was like I could see on their face like the exhaustion. That was like my game 5 in a tournament, right? And you're like, what rules are we like? What was that strategy you just used? Like, what is my stat line on this unit? And like it's hard to explain that feeling to people who have not played that many games in one day. I was trying to explain it to a friend, and she's like, what do you mean by cooked? And I was like, well,
Just means that you're just exhausted, just like physically and like
mentally
physically exhausted.
Yeah.
So can it be a sport? I believe so. I think very much so. It's one of the reasons that like coaching exists as well. I mean,
so like as my coach, you think that I should change my mindset on this one?
I think that you should make up your mind as to how you want to approach the game, right? So if you want to make it into like a competitive sport mentally, then you practice for it and treat it like you would treat preparing for a roller derby.
Here's the question. NASCAR, is that sport?
I think there are aspects of it that are definitely very sport. Like it is,
It's
and
really
it's because
100%
physically
is a
demanding
sport.
to drive those cars.
And
yeah.
mentally, you're only traveling at what 197 miles per hour. Like, yeah,
But,
you're
like-
going to. All you're doing is left-hand turns, but
But at the
One
same
mistake.
time, like, yeah, and like your body is like this as you're holding that car steady, right? Like nobody's driving like this in NASCAR. Nobody's doing that, right? Yeah.
So I think I'm seeing common denominators in sports. And I think the common denominators are, and these aren't all of them, just the ones that I've noticed, that it's a broadcast, whether it's on the internet or TV.
Yeah.
It has sponsors.
Yeah.
And there's players that compete professionally. If you fit, just that's the framework. Put anything in that framework, it becomes a sport. Rolling dice. If there were 100,000 people watching a couple of people roll dice, and there were sponsors for the two people, and it was televised, and there were different teams of dice rollers, and you traveled around the world rolling dice, I think the dice rolling game would become a sport at that point. It's spectacle. If there's spectacle that surrounds an activity, it becomes a sport, no matter what it is, whether it's mental, physical, or both.
I mean, makes sense.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that's definitely like a good way to look at it.
Because I'm pretty sure there's people that are like, let's say there's a basketball player, right? And they're like, baseball players, they're all lazy. They're all out of shape. They just have to stand there and hit a ball with a bat. That's not a sport. Or whatever, right? There's comparisons within the spectrum of sports play.
Of what is and what isn't a sport.
That's my opinion, and I know nothing about any of this. That's just my opinion.
I think that there's no real answer. There's no one real right answer to this question.
I don't think there is.
It's going to be different for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's because at some point somebody said, it'd be really fun if we grab this round thing and kick it and try to get it to that side of the field and put it in this little basket thing. Or as they I've seen a description of basketball being like, okay, here's a ball. You can bounce it. You have 20 seconds to put it in that net. Go. No. Okay. Next turn. Other team gets the ball now. They have 20 seconds to go put it in the net. Go.
Accurate.
Charles Hollum says, in Japan, they've televised rock, paper, scissors tournaments. Is that a sport? That's it. That's awesome. That sounds
you're
fantastic.
using your body. It's a game of speed.
Yeah, like that'd be Pog. Let's compete, Pogs.
Let's bring back Pogs.
A Pog's a sport. That's hilarious.
They are now.
It could be.
They could be a sport.
It could be a sport.
I think that is very, very true. When you think about it, could it be a sport? Yes, it could.
Who determines what a sport? I think it's the general masses. They determine.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can a million people be wrong?
Yes, they can.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Can 100 million be wrong? 100 million be wrong?
Yes.
we usually don't talk politics here, but just take a little south of the border look,
No politics.
No politics. Skari puts the kibosh on that one.
Yeah. Psh. Language is the description of how we speak. It doesn't tell us how to speak. Words mean what most people feel it does, says Rich. Yeah, that makes sense. Especially if you're looking at it from that point of the view. For shizzle.
So speaking of non-politics, I posted something today on Twitter, and it was in 5 words or less, not using politics, start a fight. And then here, I'll start it off. Cadia does not stand.
Oh.
Great. Magnus did everything wrong.
Accurate.
And to be fair, I grabbed the idea from TikTok because there was a TikToker that posted it. I'm like, that's a fantastic idea. So I'll just take that and I'll post it on Twitter. See what happens.
How about Star Wars' uninspired writing?
Wow, we're trying to really piss people off today, are we? Is this the?
Hey, that was the task.
Yeah, no,
That
I
was
get
the
it.
task.
Start a
Do I
fight.
win? Do I win?
5 words or less.
Die Hard's a really bad movie.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Don't you dare!
No!
We literally just had the
I
John
thought we
McClane
were
references. How could you
friends.
do this to
I
us?
thought we were friends.
The Phantom Menace is the best in the series.
Gives me paint at all
That is-
times.
Oh
now
my
I have a
goodness
machine
gracious.
gun. Ho, ho, ho.
That's the best.
Yeah. Suck
Oh
it,
my-
Matt.
Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness gracious. And little did we know, the entire stream imploded as everybody started gutting each other. Vect will never come back. How dare you? How dare you, Charles?
To get back online, Hooligan Bear, you're actually absolutely correct. Alfarius is the only loyalist. There was a question asked, do we think that new codices have an advantage over old codices?
Yes, because they're designed to work in the current rule set.
Do we
I
all
would
see
agree.
the power creep that is
I would
happening?
think so, yeah. They're designed to sell more new models.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would agree. I would agree with that statement. I think it's like you can definitely say that for sure. However, this even though that's true, right? The fact that newer codexes tend to just because they have better rule mechanics that sort of work with the current state of the game and kind of the direction they're going in and things like that. Whichever that means, though, I don't think that's an excuse to say that old codexes are not worth playing or terrible, right? It makes it harder to play older stuff, right? It makes
Harder
it harder
to play or harder to compete?
It's harder to compete. No, the thing is, you can still compete. It's just not as brain numbing, if that makes sense. It's not as easy, but if you know your stuff, you can very much still compete with older books, even though the power level or the tier level is not at what the newer stuff is. It's just most people who showcase the new stuff or the competitive players tend to go for the path of least resistance when it comes to competing, right? Where if your goal is to win, you want to win with the least amount of effort. And if you take a newer codex and you're a good player, you tend to find it easier to win games. And it doesn't mean that the old books can't do it. But a lot of the general discourse online is, oh, new books, OP, I can't play my old book. And I think that's a fallacy. I don't think that's the way they should really be looked at, right?
I feel like if you don't enjoy, if you just jump on the new stuff because it's quote OP or whatever, but it doesn't suit your play style, maybe you'll do well with it, but you're not going to win on your terms. You're not going to enjoy that game, right?
Chasing the meta.
Ta-da! Did some little freehand on there.
Look at you go. Nice.
Cabal of the Black Heart, Yeah.
And I mean, I say this as somebody who plays what is generally considered one of the lower tier armies.
Which one?
I play guard, and they do struggle in this current meta, and I did put them away for 4 months, and I didn't play them because I was so frustrated at seeing how points efficient the new codexes are. But I brought my stuff out the other day, and I had a lot of fun with it. They really suit my play style, and I think like maybe I just have to accept that I'm playing on hard mode.
Karko says, then how can it be a sport if players are not even playing on even ground? You think sports are on even ground?
Never. They're
No
never on
way.
even ground.
Like, if I have a football team, I want, like, the best players on my football team, and I don't care who you have on your football team. I'm trying to make the most busted team that's going to crush everyone. Like,
that's within your salary cap. That's,
right, or
that's
whatever,
your
right?
even playing field is your salary cap.
So I've got a point level, and I'm going to try put the most busted stuff in my point level that I physically can. Yeah, that's a very sport-like mentality. There's no even footing in sports. It's not a fair thing. It's more like, that's why the underdog stories are always the best. Like, Charles was stating, one of the oldest codexes, Skari, making it to the finals of the Elvine Open, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just because it,
Grey
Knights did really well too. They like smashed that 60 possessed list. 60 possessed, dead. Grey Knights just like nuked them all with smites.
Let's face it, they're engineered to kill chaos. Demons.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I remember this was pre-Psychic Awakening. I took a Grey Knight army to the Sudbury, the basement open, and I went 4-2 with Grey Knights. And,
was that your Land Raider list?
That was my Land Raider, yeah.
That was your Land Raider list,
wasn't it? Land Raiders, they're trash. And, I went up against 2 Knight players and was like, watch this. You're dead, and then you're dead, and then you're dead. And I just win, right?
That's so funny. Yeah,
what was that about them being trash again?
Exactly. It was more about that underestimation factor, right? Like when you go and if you practice and you play your list and you know it inside and out, people will underestimate like what you know. It's funny because even if you have that sort of air of narrative gamer about you, where it's like, oh, I brought one of everything or whatever, and I brought a little bit of this and a little bit of that, like that doesn't mean that you don't know how to play the mission and play the game, right? Like it just means that you enjoy playing different things, right? And sometimes that can even be more powerful when everybody's like trying to cookie cutter as much as possible. You bring like the out of the woodwork stuff or use stratagems that nobody ever uses. Credit goes to Dave. Cut them down. Where first game I ever played against Dave, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be fun, whatever. I'm like, I'm gonna full back my 1 wounded succubus, and he's like, cut them down. I was like, say what? I'm gonna try kill her when she runs away. I was like, oh my gosh, you can use that. Who the heck uses that stratagem?
No one.
Nobody. And then I started using that stratagem because nobody uses it, and it's great. And I've used it in so many situations now where people do the exact same reaction I did the first time. I was like, what? What stratagem is that? And I'm like, this one. And they're like, oh, dang. So you never know. You just don't it's all about like expectations and like that thought process and stuff. So
I played. I was just going to say, for the first time ever, I played like a Highlander style list, and I was like, this is just like a trash tier list. It's it's a good representation of my collection, and I was going up against new Necrons, and I was like, this is just not even going to be a game. And then at the end of it, I'm like, this is really freaking close. Oh my god!
Right.
And I won it by 5 points. It was like one of the best games that I had in a really long time.
Yeah.
Just playing an odd list.
And it's because people like it, and I've tried to say this, like back in the day in like 5th edition, there was this thing called Leaf Blower, right? And Leaf Blower was a list, it was guard, right? But it was like 6 chimeras or 7 chimeras or 8 chimeras, and they all had autocannons, and the dudes inside had autocannons, and it was like as many autocannons as you could fit in, but it was literally a copy paste of the same thing over and over and over again. Yes, very, very powerful, very, very efficient. However, as a player playing against it, your target priority was really easy, because all you had to kill was either a chimera or a chimera or another chimera, right? Like there's not really much in terms of like hard choices you had to make. The only thing you had to decide to do was which one do I want to kill, and usually it was the one near an objective or something. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I need to kill that one that's in this position. But when you take like a mixed bag of stuff, and you've got like a Chimera and veterans and Bulgrin and a Sentinel squad and like a some Crusaders and this and that all over the place, and it's like, then the target priority becomes a lot harder for opponents sometimes because they don't really know how to like gauge what's the biggest threat based on that time, and that's actually quite beneficial as well. Matthew says, "Ew, leaf blower." Oh yeah, you all think Iron Hands were bad? Oh, you don't remember leaf blower or rocket spam space wolves or
Yes, I remember that. Yes, the long fangs.
Long fangs and dudes with cyclone rockets everywhere and squads and
It was too many.
I thought that leaf blower was the like basilisk
spam too,
and it was like you went turn 1 and basically made everybody run off the board.
It was a combination. It had basilisks, manticores, Lehman Russes or whatever, and then like as many chimeras and autocannons as you could fit in, because you had all the blast weapons and then just like a bunch of dudes everywhere. Like it was just a parking lot, mech spam parking lot. I know Hail Hydra. I just see myself staring at Skari. Yeah, there we go. Skari face. I love this thing. This is cool. Well, we're going to be finishing up soon. I just want to, start rounding this up. Can't believe it's been an hour and a half. Goes by super, super fast. But make sure that if you haven't already, make sure you check out MiniWarGaming at miniwargaming.com.
Where have you been if you haven't checked it out yet?
Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, just saying, like, Dave and the crew down at MiniWarGaming do excellent stuff. They're a stone throw away from all of us here in Ontario. But they even during this pandemic, they've been cranking out the content, and it's definitely been like a crazy year that we've had. But you've always been there. Why do we have
Twitch popping up again?
Oh no! Why do we have Twitch popping up? My phone only just told me you were online. It says sorry again. However, poor sorry again can't hear me read that comment because they don't know that we're not live. I don't know. Charles Met says the Rhino Rush brings back memories. Oh yeah, good old Blood Angel Rhino Rush with the souped up engine rhinos just running up with like a bunch of tactical Marines. Or assault Marines without jump packs.
Yes.
Without the jump packs, yeah.
I remember
You're
that.
running with chainswords. I remember my Black Templars. It's live on Twitch again. Oh my goodness.
What?
Now it finally.
When we're getting ready to close down?
We're getting ready to close.
What is this madness? Okay, well, we'll have at least 5 minutes worth of Twitch. Hello, Twitch people. How are you? Thanks for tuning in. Hey, look at that. All the Twitch people start showing up. Oh, my goodness gracious. It must have been like some sort of server mistake on Twitch. I knew that it's like, I was like, I've done nothing wrong. Oh, okay, well. I'm glad Twitch loves the 10-minute outro, says Red Leaf Customs. Makes sense. Third edition Demon Bombs. Oh, do you remember that? The guy with the chains on the bike? The, like, demon chains? That you could summon a Bloodthirster or whatever with the Chaos Lord on a bike with the chains so that you could, like, possess him, like, whenever you needed to. So you could, like, rush him up into the middle of the enemy army and then he'd turn into a Bloodthirster. Or like a greater demon. I remember that.
I don't remember.
Fun.
That must have been...
it was 3.5.
Yeah,
I
didn't play that. I started playing 4th edition.
Yeah, that's when Chaos had access to demons in the Chaos Codex.
Ah.
Yeah. That was like the first, like, yeah, they had demons and they were like very generic demons. But then they were like the legit. Yeah. Oh man, Bloodthirster, Bloodletters back then.
I remember Bloodletters in a Land Raider.
Bloodletters were terrifying.
Yeah, they were horrifying. They were like strength 5 with an AP 2 weapon, like absurd.
Crazy.
Oh, they were horrid.
Bloodthirster bursting out of characters was so cool in 3rd edition. Oh yeah, like when you could basically get the guy to turn into a Bloodthirster, he'd be like, "Rah!" because he died and all whatever. And
I feel like this is a
fun.
Great time for Skippy to make his self known on stream.
Oh hey, Skippy, what's going on? Old school 3rd edition Corn Berserker that's skipping away.
He's got a big smile on his face.
He's got a big smile. Good old. Good old bunny ears. He's just like bounding around, being like la 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 buzz 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 la 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 ba ba. It's
I
fun.
agree with what my eyes are seeing.
I can't get rid of him, right?
Oh no!
I got him in trade, and he's just so great.
John, John the Crunch. Now that you can see this on Twitch, I need to show you. Pretty much did him. I put a little. There you go. Haha! Look at him. He's so sexy. That's this. John the Cron's in chat now, so I have to show off
Hi, John.
what you have wrought. Hello, John the Cron. What's going on, buddy? Speaking of 3rd edition, I still have my Corella de Vil model. Oh man, some of the models from back then. You know, I'm really happy they've decided to go more PC with a lot of things. But her story is hilarious. If you haven't already, go check it out. It's really funny. Skari. Wait, Skari actually got painting done on stream when the stream was broken? Yes. We've been on YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitter. We've been everywhere except for Twitch.
Except Twitch.
Apparently. Well, a huge shout out. Thank you, Matt, for coming on. Make sure you check out Alferis Matt at jacksonqueen.com. A little store in a town of Ontario is like 400 people. A village. What?
Like I said, the population keeps decreasing.
Yeah. Eventually, it'll be like a hovel.
It's just me.
It'll be a hovel. You know, just Matt. Make sure if you have any old Magic cards, I've been pranking Matt by making you send him all your old Magic cards. And it's hilarious because he's already got like 3 or 4 boxes full of Magic cards for no reason. So that makes me smile because then he did threaten to throw them on my lawn if they get too big. But
hey,
I'm gonna call.
I got 5 models built today.
Oh my goodness gracious!
5.
You actually got hobbying done? Get out of here. 5 out of what? 30? 20? 10?
30, yeah.
Yeah, 30. Makes
No,
sense.
40. My apologies.
40?
I'm running
Oh,
two
my
20-man blobs.
Of course, Tanya, the War Mistress. Make sure you check her out on Twitch, streaming every Wednesday and Saturday, so check her out. She is pretty awesome, and she does lots of painting. More painting than I do on this stream. However, we all do use the hashtag just put paint on it. So if you are working on something, use the hashtag so that we can all take a look at it, and we love to see what you are working on. Of course, I've been Skari, your grateful host. You can always find me on Twitter at Skari2. And if you'd like to support what I do, you can always check me out on Patreon, which is also like a blog. So there's a paywall, but not really, because I do a lot of stuff for everybody. Yeah, that's it. Hooray! Other than that, Dave, I want to say thank you so much for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me. I gladly come back anytime to talk about Chaos.
Talk about Chaos, especially when, say, a new Chaos Codex comes out sometime, maybe?
Yeah.
Or new Chaos models that we
or
could
more
all
Chaos
maybe,
models or something?
Just so happens there's a new Warcry warband that has 4 Chaos models in it.
Yeah.
That's a good reason. There's always a good reason.
It's really fun.
Debate sports and what constitutes a sport. That was fun.
That was definitely very, very entertaining. You know, you never know when you sit down and you talk about stuff with friends around a hobby table and painting stuff. You never know where the conversation will lead you, especially when you exclude Twitch from the chat.
Also, Skari gave us like a finger wag. He's like, "Now you guys better behave," and we're
That's
like,
right.
"Aw,
You better behave." We got royalty on. You know, we have to. Royalty on means behaving. That's right. But we all did very well today, so I'm very excited about that.
We deserve a cookie."
You do deserve cookies. Bloodletters in a Land Raider. This is the way, says Hail Hydra. No. And with that, Dave, I cannot wait to see your corn orcs all finished up. I think that'll be super, super exciting to see. Really, really fun. On that, that's it. I've been Skari, your grateful host. This has been Matt. This has been Dave. This has been Tanya. And we will head off by saying, don't forget to hashtag just put paint on it. Bye.
Bye.